Okay, finally, what's your take as regards the US government finally interceding for Nnamdi Kanu? And at the same time, we know that what Nnamdi Kanu have said in the time past is what is happening. And do you think that the Trump government will finally intercede as regards insecurity in Nigeria?
I think let us start with uh, U.S. Perception on the judgment that took place on the 20th of November, 2025. Where we saw the worst judgment ever in the history of the world, where that kind of judgment is being passed to a man that has not been connected or has no link with any terrorist organization anywhere in the world. I'm talking about Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. And the US senators, the congressmen, immediately reacted and condemned the political judgment of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. And of course, that also gives you an insight that that this is purely a proxy war by Bola Ahmed Tinubu against the Igbo nation, against the Igbo interest, and the continued oppression and suppression of the Igbo rise. And nobody age-long hatred to an extent you deliberately sentenced the symbol of the highest and the biggest race in Africa. And in less than 24 hours, you ganged up and took Mazin Nnamdi Kanu in a kangaroo private jet to Sokoto. We have Southwest, we have South-South, we have Southeast, we have Middle Belt. You never considered what is actually Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to tell the Igbos at this time, that we are at war. Please, Obasanjo has reacted to what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing. I don't want to know whether there is unnecessary agreement between the West and the Fulanis, and that their relationship is based clearly on how to destroy the Igbo nation. Would an average Yoruba man tell me that they love Fulani, or they are enjoying a similar relationship? At every point in time, you notice the Nigerian political class is always on the other side of making sure that Igbo does not take one step, one single step forward. It is very clear in that judgment. Omotosho, where is the law? The world took note of that. The EU took note of that. The international community took note of that. Civil society organizations all over the world took note of that. And then, how would the Nigerian government be feeling now? Was Nnamdi Kanu not to be celebrated for alerting Nigerians of the dangers ahead 7 good years ago, or more than 7 good years ago? Would such person be allowed to be such a brain and knowledge to perish because he's Igbo? Shame on the Eastern governors and Eastern politicians, especially Ojuzo Kalu and Benjamin. You want to become governor of Abia State? Come and become governor of Abia State. All the states that have moved to APC today, in the south, south, and southeast. Fulani have taken over all their forests. We have never seen anything like that in Akwa Ibom, but Akwa Ibom has experienced the first Fulani military attack in a boys' secondary school in Akwa Ibom. The Oni of Ife have just confirmed that Nnamdi Kanu is right. It's only Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Remi Tinubu, Bayo Onanuga, Daniel Buala, and those who have Fulani DNA in them in Nigeria, including in Igbo land. You should understand what I mean by Fulani DNA. That does not see and understand that Nnamdi Kanu was just a symbol, a lonely voice of resistance. You want to become president of a nation that have never worked. When Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Tunde Bakare, we are on the other side. You should understand what I mean. This is a man who came and said he never believed in Nigeria. Today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu sentenced a man who said he doesn't believe in Nigeria to death sentence. Posterity have a way of repeating itself. You cannot say tomorrow what will become of this Yoruba Fulani relationship against the Igbos. I want to say it again, that the intervention of the international community has been confirmed by the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. Nobody should say it is not a welcome development. We must understand that such mission is welcome and is something that should be allowed, because Nigerians are dying as a result of the so-called unity.
As a result of the so-called unity. Okay, but with what is being currently being and said in the Nigeria House of Rep, we saw them, arguing, fighting over the, judgment that was passed on Nnamdi Kanu. But do you think that these people have what it takes to pressure Tinubu to finally give Nnamdi Kanu his freedom?
No, see, let me tell you very clearly. You can see that the man Nnamdi Kanu was recently denied an appeal process. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there. He's sitting down trying to frustrate that appeal. Like he's telling us that they have passed Nnamdi Kanu's judgment on Nnamdi Kanu, and he has no constitutional right for appeal. All those things you are seeing them doing in the National Assembly does not mean anything to me. This is not the first time we are seeing those kind of drama. But what we are saying in reality is this: is Nnamdi Kanu correct? A lot of people have resigned from Sokoto prison. The whole structure in Sokoto prison now has confirmed him as the president. And I told you, the Radio Biafra is there, live in Sokoto prison. It was possible. But the whole world is watching how a fellow Southern president, the Igbo man is not the one that killed Abiola. Igbos has always, if you look at the current human capital development index in Nigeria, the Igbos have the highest, and still they are not in government. Who is afraid of the Igbo rise? The sixth richest tribe in the world, the fourth most traveled tribe all over the world. Can't Nigeria understand that it is Nnamdi Kanu's right to say I am not part of this. But you release your own brothers. And a northerner in the National Assembly is saying over his dead body, will they release Nnamdi Kanu? And Tinubu is dancing to the will and political atrocities the Northern Fulani political class has imposed or has they have ganged up because they said Igbo. I don't want to know whatever Sowore is doing. I don't want to know. But what is the real fact is that the Oni of Ife has said that the Fulanis have infiltrated the entire South and they are busy saying APC, APC, APC. When the Canadian government has confirmed that the PDP and APC are terrorist organizations. Fiaro.
But someone's talking about the way Nnamdi Kanu was being sentenced. It was sentenced, they say it was so abrupt because the way it was quickly moved to Sokoto prison. At the same time, it was as if everything was mapped and planned out on how Omotosho quickly passed that judgment, and I think a day after
Bro,
it was moved.
I told you that a book written by Femi Adesina that they were in underground when the meeting was held. Femi Adesina was there. Unfortunately, the late Buhari was also there. Malami and the rest of them were all there. Brutai, they were all there. And there was an agreement to destroy and kill Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. They infiltrated the Kenyan police without the Interpol headquarters acknowledging or that arrest or kidnap. They went to Kenya. The Kenyan government condemned it. They abducted. Now, the same government of Nigeria is saying that Malami and the rest of them should be called for questioning. Before, finally, ICC takes a stand on them. Nnamdi Kanu will not die in prison, and government must grant him the right of appeal. Yes, you can listen to Melema of South Africa saying that Nigeria has groomed another powerful Nelson Mandela, and that his reign is going to shake the foundations of the world before Biafra will come. For Biafra, the EU Parliament has taken note of that. You can see on the video I'm about to play to you now, you can understand that there's already a grand plan. Thank God for what is happening in Niger Delta today. The divide and rule imposed by these leaders of the Nigerian political class has continued to collapse. Let us watch and see. Please share this video.